I like, click, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This series is called Sirius The Jaeger. This series came back in 2018. It's 12 episodes, 25 minutes apiece. And we will cover the first episode, The Revenant Howls in Darkness. Yuli and the Jaegers plan an assault on a vampire meeting in Shanghai, then follow the ringleaders across the sea to Tokyo. So let's cover this first episode and get it cracking. So here we have Yuli, looking like he ready for beef. Let's get it cracking. So we got a bunch of people with their significant others at a ball, drinking their wine and shit. And this guy talking about raise a toast to let the blood flourish and all this other stuff. This random crazy looking motherfucker. But as they're toasting, they all drop their glasses. But apparently these women are under a spell. Cause they're not their dates, they're motherfucking vampires. Meanwhile, you got this guy outside playing violin. This guy tossing niggas out the bar. This chick talking to the master talking about the Jaegers are on to us. Now who are the Jaegers precisely? Well, for one, they're vampire hunters. And these motherfuckers some vampires. So apparently this is Yuli and the squad of Jaegers, give it a business, about to go in and wreck shop. They're supposed to bust out some type of strategy, but Yuli smells blood, and he can't wait for the beef, so he about to get it cracking. And they started fucking all them niggas up while the red moon shining. My man's like, dude, you have a death wish? You gonna stop being so goddamn reckless one day. The next day they hear about certain vampires going to Tokyo, so that's exactly where they going. And they go by boat. Meanwhile, the cops over there catch a bloodbath, all this shit happening. They believe all this is caused by a serial killer named Kuretake. He's an infamous nigga in Tokyo who's apparently freed. But of course, we got the Jaegers on that case. And apparently this one major disguised as a regular everyday civilian thinks Kuretake is on that case too. He's reading the paper. That's what Kuretake looks like. There you go. On the other side of town, we have Ryoho having kendo matches with her dad. And apparently the Jaegers are going to be guarding over this area. She got that surprised look on her face when Yuri stares at her and shit. Like, what's up? What's good? Well, the major gets to talk about the captain. They all will think Kuretake has something to do with it. Meanwhile, Ryoko meets up with Yuri in the garden. He's like, yeah, your garden looks nice, but I could just tell by smelling them, the roots are coming up from the bottom. She's like, how the fuck would he know they're rotting from the roots just by smelling them? Man, because he got superpowers, bitch. Well, anyway, we found out that Kuretake is in a cell with a bunch of dead bodies. And I'm like, who captured him? Oh, it's this crazy chick from earlier. Anyway, we got this angry policeman murking out of his subordinates about Kuretake. Like, yo, we gotta catch this nigga. But then when the Jaegers pop up, his ass straighten up real quick. They basically take over to do some research and some investigation. Meanwhile, this one cop is walking around a dark area. Something happens in the house with blood, all these birds start flying. And you can tell right out the back, this motherfucker ain't gonna last long. Exactly, it's right at the back, this bitch shows up. And she takes a bite out of his candy ass. Meanwhile, he discovered in the profiles that Kuretake only attacks boys. But in the situations that's been happening, he's been attacking the people that have been killed, have been attacked like women, children, all that. Police just think his methods have changed, but the more he looks into it, the more he realizes that he doesn't think that Kuretake had anything to do with this. You already know who he thinks it is. So anyway, we catch a shorty walking the streets, walking the alleys, and who's waiting on her? Motherfucking Yuri. You already know what it is. It's time, bitch. So then we get a car chase with the beef. He hops on top of the other car, flips that motherfucker over. Explosion dodging, nigga. And here she come out the fire like, yeah, you know what it is. Yeah, let's get it. Oh shit, she about to plunge the cars in the neck. Who's this sniper looking on from a distance? All of a sudden his face turned blue, he's zapping him extra powers. And she's like, what? You're serious? I mean, of course he's serious, but the actual name, I guess he's like some type of like fucking legendary type of nigga. And he finds out she's a royal, I guess a more powerful vampire or something. So as he jumps us about to finish her crazy ass off, the sniper bucks off a shot, and as Yuli's closing in, he fires. Wham! Ends up hitting Yuli. What in all of the And that's the first episode for you. Vampires and vampire hunters and mayhem. Do you really need any more? I mean, honestly, come on. Sirius The Jaeger on Netflix. Check it out. Like, click, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. Slick, easy, out the easy, best time. Big, who the goddamn slogan?